Hey everyone, how's it going? For today's video, let's take an up-close and personal, in-depth look at the all-new 2015 Chevrolet Colorado Z71. So this is going to be a detailed, in-depth review of the Colorado. We'll start it up to the engine, get an exhaust clipping over the performance data, take it on a thorough road test, and show you many of the unique aspects of both the interior as well as exterior. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up. Let her run. As you can see, the Z71 does come standard with a remote start. The exterior color of this Colorado is known as Red Hot and comes paired with the Z71 exclusive combination of leatherette and cloth upholstery, finished in two-tone jet black and light gray. The Colorado is the first in its segment to incorporate electrically assisted speed-proportional rack and pinion steering, designed for improved efficiency by eliminating an engine-driven hydraulic pump. It's routed through a 4-spoke steering wheel with satin silver trim that wraps around the airbag cover and grip bolsters at 10 and 2. Cruise control can be found to the left spoke, while the right houses optional multifunction controls for your media, voice activation features, and hands-free telephone. All of the buttons are then covered in a soft-touch membrane. One thing that I thought was paramount for this video is to see what the Colorado is like to live with on a daily basis. Most folks looking for a vehicle in this segment don't need as much truck as the latest full-size category offers, so I knew it was important that the Colorado be comfortable, accommodating, and efficient. To test this, my wife and I loaded it up and took it on a trip to Williamsburg, Virginia, about a 4.5-hour drive each way from where we live. The first thing that you'll notice is how solid the new Colorado feels. Chevrolet did a fantastic job reducing overall vibrations and harshness. With added sound deadening, triple sealed, and inlaid door panels, in addition to thicker glass, the Colorado is extremely quiet, really allowing you to take full aural pleasure in the optional Bose stereo. Every now and then you do still feel road imperfections, just as you almost forget you're driving a truck, but overall it's very well controlled, far smoother than its predecessor. The electric steering is nicely weighted, if not somewhat isolated, but a typical characteristic of EPS. There is still a hint of connection in there. I really like the way it felt, and most people won't notice any difference whatsoever. It's quick to respond and offers an impressive turning radius for the class. I believe a lot more could be said, but for time's sake, I would say that the Colorado drives much more like a car than your typical pickup. It feels far more refined than the current competition, so if you're new to the truck market, you'll likely appreciate that factor. The vast majority of Colorado models feature a 6-speed automatic transmission, now routed through a console shifter versus the traditional column placement. On the base extended cab, two-wheel drive work truck grade, a 6-speed manual gearbox is also available, only when paired with the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder. V6 trucks receive a 342 rear axle ratio, while the 4-cylinders get a 410 ratio. A locking differential is standard on the Z71 and available in the work truck and LT trims. Another nice piece of tech is the backup camera, which is standard across all Colorado models. You do have the ability to shift it manually by pulling the selector down into M and using the plus or minus on the left-hand side of the stalk. Talking more about its car-like driving behavior, the throttle response is a little slow initially but picks up quite a bit when you get into the RPM range where the vehicle really comes to life. It's a little different than the typical mid-size pickup that develops its power really early, so it's very smooth. It just takes a little bit to get used to if you're not familiar with it, but overall I like the experience better. For this clip I have the vehicle in the tow haul mode, which raises the transmission shift points for better performance while towing. You also have that manual shift ability. Like I said earlier, if you bring the selector back into M, you can use the plus or minus buttons to shift it, whether it's going down a hill or something like that. So let's go ahead and get a medium acceleration shot of the vehicle when in manual mode. And so, we're going to flip on the automatic projector headlamps, fog lamps, and the hazards. All 4 windows are automatic down, but the driver's side window is both automatic down and up. So, let's go ahead and check out the exterior. Over the last 2 decades, there's been a shift in the North American truck market as it dramatically evolves with regards to innovation, safety, and refinement. For the most part, consumers no longer consider a truck solely based on utility needs, but for its potential as a multi-purpose vehicle that combines many of the same benefits one would find in an SUV or crossover, with superior payload and towing capabilities. In other words, the usability of today's truck has far exceeded the traditional utilitarian pickup of yesteryear. Recently, Chevrolet launched the all-new Silverado lineup for the next generation, alongside its GMC cousins. As manufacturers across the board continue to step up their full-size game, one area that was in desperate need of innovation was the mid-size truck segment. If you're looking for an easily maneuverable, smaller-sized truck for daily use, a mid-size offers a lot when used for your common light to medium-duty tasks. With the reintroduction of the Chevrolet Colorado and GMC Canyon, all new for 2015, GM is revitalizing the segment while keeping the current generation Toyota Tacoma and Nissan Frontier directly within its crosshairs. The second-generation Colorado boasts enhanced drivability, improved passenger comfort, greater performance, reduced noise, vibration, and harshness, as well as bold new styling. As some of you may know, the Colorado is loosely based on a global offered pickup that's been available internationally for the past few years or so. While the basic shape remains, North American trucks receive far more aggressive and athletic styling that does well blending in some subtle Silverado cues, with a distinct flavor to set it apart in the Chevy fleet. In addition to the locking rear differential, Z71s feature a unique gunmetal gray grille replacing the standard chrome unit, special badging, decals, projector headlamps which are otherwise optional on the LT, and 17-inch wheels with all-season tires. When looking deeper into how the Colorado is constructed, you'll be able to notice many of the same advanced design techniques that are also found in the latest Silverado. For one, the sculpted hood is made from aluminum, a segment first, adding to a bit of weight reduction up front. New triple-sealed doors are now inlaid into the sides of the body rather than rolling over the top like its predecessor, which, in addition to improved sound insulation and thicker glass all the way around, leads to a far quieter interior. The inlaid doors are also said to enhance the truck's aerodynamics, in addition to the available active grille shutters up front, another segment first. Like its larger siblings, the Colorado is built on a fully boxed ladder-type frame made from 83% high-strength and ultra-high-strength steel for enhanced durability and reduced weight. This is a key difference between the global truck, as our frame design is 40% lighter. The bed benefits from roll-formed steel construction, which incorporates some high-strength steel components, making it both stronger and lighter than your traditional stamped steel design. The fenders project out and give the appearance of width, even though the Colorado is 5.7 inches narrower than the Silverado. Sharp creases and upswept lines as you continue across the body give it a sense of dynamism. Compared to the aforementioned global truck, our bed sides are actually taller to incorporate more cargo space out back, also designed to mimic the raked belt line of the cab and continuing the motion theme to the rear. Without delving into too many numbers, the new Colorado is significantly larger than its predecessor, making it much more of an accommodating truck overall. On the other hand, it's still quite a bit smaller than the Silverado crew cab, so it's easier to maneuver. Even though it weighs more than its predecessor, it's still about 900 pounds lighter than a comparable Silverado. In short, it does slot in between the two in terms of size. The Colorado can be had in 3 basic body and bed combinations, in addition to 3 trim levels: WT or Work Truck, LT, and Z71. One of my favorite features are the integrated steps in the rear bumper. Also found in the new Silverado, they first made their appearance on the first generation Chevrolet Avalanche. They're extremely helpful, especially with the hand grips on top of the bed rails. The easy open tailgate is pretty light overall and offers a damping effect for soft operation. Having the ability to lock the tailgate adds a measure of security, while an available spray-in bed liner, shown here, provides a very grippy yet high-quality surface. 2-wheel drive comes standard with the option of 4-wheel drive and a 2-speed transfer case. The driver is able to select between 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low by a rotary dial to the left of the steering column. A regular cab won't be available, so the standard setup is an extended cab with the longer 6'2" box out back. The crew cab featured in today's video has the shorter 5'2" box, but if you need the extra room, you can opt for the long box in crew cab form. The short box features a total cargo volume of 41.3 cubic feet, increasing to 49.9 cubic feet with the long box. As far as payload, the crew cab short box is rated to haul 1,590 pounds, about 70 pounds more than the long box. Trailering ability, however, is the same for both drivetrains, bed configurations, and engines to an extent. Both the 4-cylinder and V6 max out at 3,500 pounds, so if you're going to tow a lot, get the V6. You not only have the extra power on top, but the option of the Z82 trailering package, which comes with a 2-inch receiver and harness as shown here. With this setup, towing capacity doubles to 7,000 pounds. If you're wanting to take the Colorado off-road, it's wise to note that approach, breakover, and departure angles vary ever so slightly between the various vehicle configurations and which drivetrain you go for. With this crew cab short box 4-wheel drive, the approach angle is 17.3 degrees, with a breakover angle of 19.8 degrees and a departure angle of 22.1 degrees. There's multiple wheel styles and sizes available for your Colorado depending on trim level. Base and work truck grades receive 16-inch steel wheels, while alloys remain an option for reduced unsprung weight. Upper trim levels receive larger and wider wheels for improved ground contact, including the Z71, which features a unique set of 17 by 8-inch dark argent metallic cast aluminum wheels. Larger 18 by 8.5-inch alloys are available on the LT for a bit of extra flair. When equipped with the 17s, they're wrapped in rugged Goodyear Wrangler 225/65 all-terrain tires, able to withstand around 0.76 G of lateral acceleration. As far as the brakes, GM's Duralife brake rotors come as standard equipment for long-term durability. First applied to the latest generation Silverado, the Colorado's application features 12.2 by 1 inch internally ventilated front discs clamped by 4-piston calipers, and 12.75 by 0.7 inch solid discs in the rear with single-piston calipers. ABS is standard, in addition to traction control, stability control, and hill start assist. Hill descent control is added with the Z71. With this setup, the Colorado stops from 60 miles an hour in about 130 feet. Providing a durable support system is an independent coilover front suspension with twin-tube dampers. Out back is a solid axle with semi-elliptic 2-stage multi-leaf springs, also with twin-tube dampers. Z71s come standard with a locking rear differential, which remains an optional feature on the WT and LT. Overall length is 212.7 inches with a width of 74.3 inches and a height of 70.7 inches, riding on a 128.3 inch wheelbase. Total curb weight for the example you see here is around 4,380 pounds.
So let's go ahead and pop the hood.
The Colorado is available with 2 power plants. While the more potent 3.6-liter V6 is available on all grades, the base 2.5-liter 4-cylinder is only available in the extended cab long box configuration. Providing for your basic needs, the all-aluminum 4 develops 200 horsepower and 191 pound-feet of torque. Stepping up to the V6 gives you 305 horsepower at 6,800 RPM and 269 pound-feet of torque at 4,000 RPM. Capable of hitting 60 miles an hour in 7.4 seconds, all the way to a limited top speed of 98 miles an hour. Like the 4, the V6 also features double overhead cams, 4 valves per cylinder, a forged steel crankshaft, continuous variable valve timing, drive-by-wire throttle, and direct injection. Compression ratio for the V6 is 11.5 to 1, with a red line around 7,000 RPM. As far as fuel economy, unless you're purchasing based on a budget or for your run-of-the-mill fleet vehicle, I recommend going for the V6 as you get a substantial bump in horsepower and torque in exchange for a small mileage penalty. A 4-wheel drive 4-cylinder is estimated between 19 miles to a gallon in the city and 25 on the highway, while a 4-wheel drive V6 is estimated between 17 miles to a gallon in the city and 24 on the highway. Of course, 2-wheel drive models do increase mileage slightly for both powertrains. Interestingly enough though, 4-cylinder Colorado's equipped with the manual gearbox actually suffers a 1 mile to gallon penalty when compared to the same truck equipped with an automatic gearbox. All Colorados carry a 21-gallon fuel tank and run on regular unleaded fuel. As impressive as the Colorado was to drive, for me the interior is what left the longest lasting impression as it felt first rate for the class. The difference between its predecessor is astounding, especially with regards to long-term comfort. Keep in mind, even though the Colorado and GMC Canyon are practically twins in many respects, each model further distinguishes itself over the other, now more than ever before, essentially creating two unique products for two different types of client. While the Colorado doesn't offer much in terms of padding material aside from the essential touch points, the overall build quality feels impressively solid. After all, it's a truck, it's meant to be tough and durable. If you're looking for a more premium feel, the Canyon will definitely be worth a look as it offers stitched dash padding and much more. Upholstery for the seats range between standard cloth to leather, or a combination of the two as seen with this Z71. Also featuring a unique color scheme, the Z71 seats are firm but supportive, not to mention heated. They offer a combination of power and manual adjustments in addition to power lumbar. The adjustable headrests feel perfectly positioned to support your head while keeping full attention on the road. The seatbelts are adjustable and there's no shortage of airbags. One thing that I would recommend though is consider the step-up bars. There's 2 or 3 different options I believe that Chevrolet offers through their accessories program, but the Colorado still rides just a little bit high, not near as high as a Silverado, but it would make things just a little bit easier. The steering wheel is manual tilting telescoping, the dash continues that two-tone color scheme with a very Silverado vibe, all finished off with the light gray headliner.
So let's go ahead and see if she sounds.
The Colorado comes standard with a 6-speaker audio system and a 4.2-inch LCD display in the dash. This particular vehicle has the upgraded Bose premium surround sound system and 8-inch Chevrolet MyLink infotainment system. The Bose system is without a doubt the best audio system I've ever heard in this class of vehicle. Especially if you're going to drive this on a daily basis, I highly recommend it. It's powerful, loud, and crisp. You won't be disappointed. And with 4G LTE and 4 USB ports, all of your devices can stay connected. Of course, side curtain airbags, padded visors with illuminated vanity mirrors, and a microphone up top for your hands-free Bluetooth telephone. The rear view mirror is auto-dimming, with OnStar controls located down beneath, and in the top stack, towards the back, you have a padded sunglass container, as well as your interior illumination and reading lamps. The thing that I really like about the Chevrolet MyLink system is that it incorporates many features and functionality like you would find in your smartphone or a tablet. So if you're familiar with those devices, it's pretty easy to catch on to this system. The home screen, activated via the home button right here, has all of the main system features organized in an app-style fashion. So, the touchscreen system, you just click on one of the icons, and it brings it up. Pretty simple to use. And I also like this system versus like the Cadillac Q system, which is a little bit of a fancier derivative. This actually incorporates many buttons here, so you can use the touchscreen system, but you can also use some shortcut keys here, as well as the menu button to scroll between the icons, so you don't have to use the touchscreen system, but you can, and a little bit of flexibility. Like many modern infotainment systems, MyLink offers a lot in terms of media flexibility with your smartphone. It is wise to note though that it does not feature a CD player, a pretty modern trend in new vehicles just because people aren't utilizing it much anymore, going more towards MP3 devices, iPods, and other things of that nature just for its ease of use and connectivity. It's not a deal breaker by any means, just something to be aware of. If we go ahead and click on Media, which we're currently utilizing at the moment, you can play iPods, iPhones, USB devices, other MP3 auxiliary devices, as well as hands-free Bluetooth streaming. It also shows all of your song artist information in the middle, album artwork off to the far right if available, play pause, change the track, rewind fast forward, as well as browse the selected device. If you have an iPod or an iPhone, go in between playlists, artists, albums, songs, and more. The other smartphone-like functions, scrolling between the menus. Within the main screen, and you'll notice this in navigation and telephone and other things of that nature, you also have a shortcut key for all of your voice recognition systems, and it's tailored for whichever screen that you're currently on, so if we click it, it'll pertain only to the audio setup.
Say an audio command.
Help.
To tune to a radio station, say the command tune, followed by an AM or FM station number, or an XM channel name or number. You can also choose audio from your media by saying the command play followed by a genre, playlist, artist, album, or song name. Or, to hear more options, you can say radio or my media.
Cancel.
Goodbye.
So in the very bottom, you have preset stations for your radio. Off to the far right, you have your menu. You can turn on shuffle, automatic sound adjusting volume, as well as your equalizer functions. So if you click on radio, you can go between XM satellite radio and your standard AM and FM. Hitting browse off to the left brings up the station list. You can change the view, browse by categories and other things of that nature, and if you press that little arrow, you can always bring up your preset stations. Another pretty cool thing being that this is a hard drive based infotainment system is that you can pause live radio and double back and listen to a song once more as it records it along the way. You also have your seek, tune in the middle there. Now off to the far right, the menu button has a little bit more features than it did in the media screen, including Tune Select, which allows you to save particular artists or songs, and whichever station that it comes on, it'll automatically alert you so you can go ahead and go to the particular station that it's on and, well, listen to it. Of course, your tone. You can tag songs in the middle here to be transported to your iPhone later or device so you can later purchase it. In addition to your preset stations down below like you saw earlier. You also have shortcut menus there if you didn't notice it earlier for your telephone and navigation, outside temperature, and a digital clock. On the home screen, regardless of which audio mode that you're on, if you hit audio, it'll automatically take you to it. There's some extra shortcut keys in the bottom there, such as the button that rewinds, fast forward, changing the track, seek, tune, other things of that nature, tone in the very bottom, a back button, and of course, home. The wheel, like you saw earlier, can be used to scroll between the different icons and select. If we go to hands-free Bluetooth telephone, it'll automatically ask you to pair it, otherwise it'll bring up the paired devices. The voice commands, like I showed you earlier, contacts, recent, keypad, storing voicemail, and you can also send and receive text messages from the system.
Say a phone command.
Help.
say call followed by the phone number or contact name of the person you would like to call, or, to call an international number, say voice keypad. To connect to a different paired phone, say change phone. To pair a new phone, say pair phone.
Cancel.
Goodbye.
We head back to home, check out navigation. Nice high-res display, and actually shows a picture of the Colorado down there, which is pretty cool. You can pinch and zoom in, just like you would on a smartphone, or hit the zoom in and out buttons down there. Reset your position, your destination input, with address, recent locations, contacts, points of interest, as well as an extra menu button there for various settings including traffic. System settings, a lot of customizable options, radio, Bluetooth, display, rear camera, as well as resetting everything to the factory defaults. The other things you notice down below here, that little arrow, will also bring up your preset stations, and to get rid of it, you just swipe down. You can stream Pandora Internet Radio, access your OnStar, and the text messaging system like I mentioned earlier, in addition to real-time weather updates. With current and extended forecasts, 36-hour, hourly, a weather map up top. So that's definitely pretty cool, in addition to all of your real-time traffic updates. But all in all, those are all the basic features of the Chevrolet MyLink system available in the all-new Chevrolet Colorado. Continuing down the center console, it's very reminiscent of a Silverado the way the center stack is shaped. You have a single-zone climate control setup down below with 2 outside rotary knobs and little digital displays within. The left-hand side is for your fan speed, the right-hand side is your temperature with one-touch automatic. It also shows up on the MyLink system, so you can easily see it while going down the road. Different zones, front and rear defrost, AC, and recycling. Down in the bottom of the stack, the Z71 has 3-stage heated seats, either the top or the bottom, or just the backrest. Trailering mode that raises the vehicle's shift points, traction control, hazards, activating your bed light, and there's a downhill assist button over there. Down in the very bottom there's a USB port, auxiliary, as well as a 12-volt power outlet. I counted 4 USB ports in total, 1 right here, and 2 for the rear passengers, so everybody can stay connected. 2 cup holders here, a bit of extra storage, and a large padded armrest with center console, that USB port, and a pretty good amount of space. As far as the steering wheel, the left-hand side houses your cruise control, while the right-hand side houses your hands-free telephone, radio controls, and voice commands. These voice commands are basically general, so you can control everything from this setup.
Command, please.
Help.
You can say phone, audio, navigation, weather, or OnStar. To call a number quicker, say call followed by the number, like this, call 555-1212. To quickly change what is playing on.
Cancel.
Goodbye.
Intermittent wipers off to the right-hand stalk, and to the left-hand side you have your high beams, turn signals, and driver information system that shows up on the little digital display in between the speedometer cluster. You have your trip computer with fuel data, average vehicle speed, a timer, blank, and digital speed readout. You have a compass and odometer down below in addition to your gear selection, vehicle, different diagnostic features, and the eco mode for instantaneous fuel economy. All in all, the interior is very well laid out and easy to use. Alrighty. We'll go ahead and shut her down. So let's hop on in the back seat, talk about passenger space, amenities, and overall comfort. I do suggest opting for the running boards. Like I said earlier, it does make it a little bit easier to climb into. Not everybody is going to find fault with that. It just depends on how tall you are or if you're going to carry children with you, as the step-up height is still just a little bit high. I'm all right. I still have to stretch up a little bit, but it's still not too bad. Just like you find in the front, the rear doors evoke that same nice solid thud. I mean, it's a very quiet, very well insulated interior, especially for a truck. I mean, you just gotta experience it in person to really get the full effect, but overall interior space with a comfortable seating position for myself up front, I probably have, inch and a half of leg space, and the back of the seats are both padded. You have a storage pocket on the back of the passenger seat, and there's a little give right here too, so if you want to stretch out just a little bit and push yourself into the seat, you can, and not be encumbered by any like mechanicals or anything like that. As far as headspace, the headliner does raise up back here to give you more wiggle room. I probably have 2-3 inches, something like that. You have 2 reading lamps up top here, grip handles up in the headliner, as well as 2 coat hooks. You also have airbags for the rear passengers, so everybody stays nice and protected. Like I said, you can get a sliding window back here for sticking in larger items. Otherwise, it's just a single piece of glass with a rear defroster. You do have a padded armrest in the middle here with 2 cup holders, and just it adds a little bit more to overall interior comfort, so I'm always glad when manufacturers include an extra armrest. I mean, of course, you can sit 3 people back here. There's no additional headrest in the middle, so probably more for short-term travels, but you do have a seatbelt and all that. Not a whole lot of hardware here. There's a little bit of a drivetrain hump. The center console doesn't intrude much back here, so still reserve it, like I said, for temporary use, smaller people most likely, but it's definitely usable. As far as overall comfort, I mean, it's pretty typical of a truck. It's not just an abundance amount of soft padding to just coddle you to sleep, but it's not bad at all. There's a little bit of lateral support up top and down below. You kind of sit into the seat. There's a nice amount of padding down below here. I like the stitching and the detail work of the leatherette, and it'll also be a little bit more durable over the long run, I think, than leather or something of that nature. Even the cloth, I like the pattern, just like the front. It's also a little bit more of a coarser material, but you don't really notice it. It's quite grippy, so you're not going to slide across the seat very much, and it'll also probably be a little bit more stain resistant and durable, which is what you need in a truck, especially if you're going to be using it a whole lot. Down below in the center console, you have a little bit of storage, a 12-volt power outlet, and 2 USB ports, so you can charge smartphones and tablets and the like. That's a very modern trend, especially with a lot of GM's newer vehicles. It just adds to a little bit more convenience in this technology-driven world that we're living in right now. But, I mean, overall, I like the back seat. I can definitely sit back here for an extended period of time. It's not uncomfortable whatsoever. People over 6 feet, maybe 6'2", 6'3" or so, it might be a little bit tight back here for you, and you might want to check out the Silverado if you're going to be carrying more passengers of that height. But that's about it, so let's go ahead and check out the rest of the vehicle.
For extra storage space, you can raise the bottom cushion to yield a storage compartment that spans the width of the vehicle. You can also fold the back seat entirely down for a flat loading space. Like you saw on the other side, pull up this lever and simultaneously grab the bottom cushion to lift it up. It locks in place and reveals a bit of storage below.
On the passenger seat, you'll also find the same combination of power and manual adjustments, including the power lumbar that you find on the driver's seat. Down below, the glove box isn't locking, but it does have a nice amount of space. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the all-new 2015 Chevrolet Colorado. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's a lot more where that came from. Take care everybody.